So here's the deal. So what you want to do, look at my notes. So you want the highest cash-on-cash return in the shortest possible time. So another metric that I think agents, there's two metrics that I want to talk about that we've already talked about. ROI, which you guys aren't familiar with. We've talked about ROTI, which you may not be super familiar with. But there's two other metrics that I would love for agents, to start thinking about. Now, number one is when you think about deploying dollars in the internet world, it's CPM. How much, if I spend, and what CPM is cost to reach, the cost per million, but it's really cost per thousand. It's how much am I going to spend to reach 1,000 people? And ideally, they're the right target, they're the right demographic. In radio, because we have a radio arm, did we talk about that on this recording?
Not in detail, but we'll definitely dig into it. I want you to finish your metrics, and then we talk about radio, because we both are in agreement. It probably is the shortest time frame, the highest quality lead that you can generate for a listing agent. So I think it's an important conversation.
But here's my point. I think when people think about their marketing plan, they think of cost. They think, oh man, I'm going to spend $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is. They're just thinking cost. But you need to be more deliberate in terms of how you think about deploying your dollars. So in the internet world, if you buy internet, display ads, which display ads don't work, but if you do any kind of internet advertising, it's CPM. It's how much per 1,000 people does this cost me? Okay, CPM. In the radio world, it's much more specific. It's CPP. It's cost per person. So we know when we create a campaign, for example, we know if we can spend $125 on that CPP, like that's going to be a great campaign. Whereas, and let me try to illustrate this for people when they think about cost and dollars and everything. It's not about the cost, because in one market I can spend $40 for a 60-second read. Right, 60-second commercial. I can spend $40 for that spot, but if I look at the CPP, I'm spending $350. That's super expensive, right? It looks cheap on the front end, but it's actually really, really expensive when I look at reach. Whereas I can be in another market, spend $1,000 for a 60-second read, but have a CPP of $120, right? That's our sweet spot. So that's one metric, to consider, to think about when you're creating your marketing plan. What is the cost per person that I'm paying to reach them, and what is my CPM, cost per thousand? Because ideally, you need to, if you want to get real traction real fast, right? It's big campaigns, and don't send out 1,000 mailers. Send out 10,000. And if you send out 10,000, even though mailers have a very small portion, or even though it's a direct response medium, the number of people responding is I think it's like 2% generally that people will respond to direct mailers. So again, think about CPM, CPP. But here's a metric, the last metric that we'll talk about, and I'm sorry that I'm throwing out these. I'm not trying to be fancy with CPM and all that stuff. I'm not. But it's important. The other metric that people need to think about is the lifetime value of your customer. And again, internet marketers know this. They know that I'm going to deploy $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. It doesn't matter. I'm going to deploy this much money. I'm going to reach this many people, this many thousands.
Right.
And then when I get them as a customer, how many different things can I sell them? Right. So what is the lifetime value of your customer? If you can get a millennial to buy a house today, which is better, to get a millennial to buy a $200,000 entry-level house, or to get a boomer to sell their $1 million house?
Well, it's a good question, and I actually have some stats because I knew this is where we were going to go. On average, Americans move every 5 to 7 years, and when they do move, they buy 50% more of a house. And so what you're talking about is really kind of mind-opening. Now, the bad statistic is that only 1 out of 10 realtors get called back for their next purchase, and and even though clients report that 3 out of 4 they would actually use their agent again, but only 1 out of 10 do. So it's
because agents are terrible. Agents are not marketers. Agents don't know how to market. That's the bit. So I mean, look, I bought my house. This house that I'm in right now, I bought it in 2004. I paid $1 million for it. Guess what? Since 2004, I bought another 18 houses. Did I ever use my guy again? No, I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He never called me, never emailed me. But going back to our illustration, your lifetime value is your turn, right? We all look for farms and say, oh, we want 6% turn, 8% turn, or whatever. But in addition to looking at your farm, the turn in your farm, you need to think about the number of turns that you can do with your client, assuming that you can stay top of mind with them. And look, it's not rocket science staying top of mind with them. It's not. You have them in your phone book and call them every 3 months, call them every 6 months, and have their email and mail them, right? It's just simple, basic stuff that people have been doing since 1960.